Right now, we're in the throes of the lead up to the holidays. Christmas music is being heard on radio stations like this one. Christmas concerts of all varieties are happening throughout the city, and people are running around preparing to make the most of the time that they have with their family and friends. One of the things associated with Christmas are bells, whether it be sleigh bells, jingle bells, altar bells, or carillon bells. They are sounds that people love to hear over the holiday season. This Sunday, December the 15th at 2 p.m. at Chapel Lawn at 4000 Portage Avenue, the sounds of bells will be heard playing a variety of Christmas music from such places as Ukraine, England, France, and Austria, just to name a few places. This concert will feature the Ring Out Handbell Quartet. They are putting on a charity concert for the Christmas Cheer Board. Admission for this concert is by donation or by a tin for the bin. All proceeds of both food and cash donations will be going towards the Christmas Cheer Board. The Ring Out Handbell Quartet was formed in 2014, consisting of members Patsy Andrews-Vert, Jewel Castleman, Susan Stevenson, and Morna-June Morrow. This quartet has performed at the Ukrainian Festival of Carols, the Manitoba Guild of English Handbell Spring Concerts, the Westminster Organ Series, and at the Lieutenant Governor's Levee at the Manitoba Legislative Building. In the process, they have showcased their prodigious skills as bell ringers throughout the city and have been ambassadors to the wonderful world of handbell ringing, educating and entertaining audiences alike for the past 10 years. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio to talk about the Ring Out Handbell Choir's upcoming charity concert on Sunday, I'm joined by my friend and member of the Ring Out Handbell Choir, Morna-June Morrow. Hey, Morna-June.
Hi, Chris.
Great to have you back.
Well, it's wonderful to be here.
So before I get to the concert, I understand that you have some big news. This spring, your fifth book was published for the 50th anniversary of the Carl Orff Canada's Music for Children. Can you talk about that a bit? And why is the Carl Orff Canada, why is it so important?
This is the system of music that we teach in elementary schools. And I co-wrote the 40th anniversary, and I was asked this year if I would write the 50th anniversary. And so that's what I did. And at the National Convention in Capilano University, they made me an honorary patron of Carl Orff Canada.
Because you yourself have been a music educator for many, many years, right?
Yes, I was music supervisor in Fort Garry School Division, now Pembina Trails, 50 years ago.
And the Ring Out Quartet is super busy these days. You're playing 6 concerts in 10 days. Can you talk about some of the seniors' residence and the luncheon that the group is playing at?
Yes, we're playing at, our first one is next week. Hopefully, Jewel will get back because she's in the United States right now. We're playing at the Wellington. We're also doing Calvary Place Personal Care Home. And the same day in the evening, Bergen Gardens. And we're playing for the Christmas luncheon of the retired women teachers of Manitoba. And, of course, this one on for the Christmas Cheer Board. And finally, Riverwood Square is our last one.
Nice.
So we play mostly at nursing homes and senior citizens.
Yeah, it's amazing. So this Sunday, the Ring Out Handbell Choir is putting on a charity concert for the Christmas Cheer Board at Chapel Lawn. Food is so expensive, and food donation is being accepted as an admission for the concert. I understand that the Christmas Cheer Board had to do something for the first time last year. What was that? And how many food hampers is the board budgeting for this year?
They had to turn their phones off a week before Christmas because they ran out of food. The last man, all they were able to give him was a can of peas. But they gave him a lot of toys to go along with it. But this year they're budgeting for 20,500 hampers. And I was at the cheer board this week, and they said they have already spent over $200,000 more than they did last year to get the food that's needed.
Just because food is so expensive.
Food is so expensive now, yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. So for this concert, there's just the 4 of you. There's 12 notes in the chromatic scale and many octaves. Can you talk about how those pitches or bells are divided up with just the 4 of you?
It's very interesting because sometimes we'll play with 4 bells at once, and we don't change the bells. Other times we may be playing 16 or 20 bells and we're moving into each other's territory all the time. So of the 49 bells, we are using 45 of them, and we're using 25 chimes as well.
Mm-hmm. So, like, is one person in charge of all the C's and D flats, and another person?
Not necessarily, no. We just have to work it out. What's the best? And on occasion, we've actually had to play a bell and pass it to our neighbor, who has to play it on the very next beat. And that's interesting.
That's fantastic. Can you talk about some of the carols that you and the quartet are going to be performing? And perhaps you've brought bells here today. Can you maybe demonstrate some of the bell ringing techniques that are going to be used in some of the carols on Sunday?
The largest bell I have is a G3, and I can ring it. I can also create an echo effect. On this table is 4 inches of foam padding. And if we ring the bell and then gently touch it to the foam pad, we can get the echo effect. We can also pluck a bell, where you actually pick up the clapper and flip it down for a much drier sound.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
We can use mallets on bells. And then we are actually not using it in this particular concert, but the singing bell technique is a new one. It originated in Thailand with singing bowls. Mm. And here I'm just going to use a dowel, a 1-inch dowel, and rub it around the rim of the bell, and eventually you'll hear it humming or singing. And then we sometimes play 2 bells in each hand. We can play it regularly like this. And if I twist my hands as if I'm knocking on a door, I can get another pitch. You can run them together. And you can also play them. I have these in intervals of thirds. I can play what's called the sweet spot, where we ring the 2 bells at the same time. And then I think probably we should take a look at some of the pieces. We're going to, another effect is a mart lift, where you hit it into the bell, into the padding, and then lift it immediately, so you get sort of a thunk followed by the singing, ringing sound. So there are all kinds of techniques now that they're using. The thumb damp is another one. You simply put your thumb or even extra fingers on the casting of the bell to give a very light staccato effect. So lots of different effects that can be used. We're going to start our program with the oldest Christmas carol in Canada from 1642, when Father Jean de Brébeuf, a Jesuit missionary working among the Hurons in Ontario, he told the Christmas nativity story, but using native language. And we will also have a video with that. And then we create the sounds of strumming guitars by using mallets on the bells. And we'll be doing the Catalonian Spanish carol, Fum Fum Fum. A French organist at a large cathedral composed Il est né, or He is Born, the Divine Christ Child. Martin Luther's 16th century German words were set to music in 1977 by an American hymn writer, and he referred to it as Luther's cradle hymn. And of course, we know it as Away in a Manger. And 45 years ago, I was traveling with a Winnipeg choir, and we sang this in the Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem. And then, of course, the most sacred carol ever written the words were by Father Joseph Moyer, and the organ had broken down in the little church in Obernsdorf, Austria. He asked the organist, Franz Gruber, if he would set it to music, but the organ wasn't working, so all they had was a guitar. So Stille Nacht, Heilige Nacht, or Silent Night, Holy Night, was performed there. And we are going to be using not only handbells, but we're also going to be using chimes. And the chimes are interesting because thousands of years ago, in Southeast Asia and China, they would take various lengths of bamboo pipes and strike it against a hard surface, and they got a musical pitch. But 100 years ago, they started switching and calling them chimes, and they're made out of aluminum, and you can get this sound. We can also create the vibrato effect like string players get. And it's simply a case of ringing it and then touching the tines. So you get that vibrato effect. And then, of course, the Ukrainian melody, Shedrik, we were quite surprised when we found out that the song is about the coming of spring and butterflies and flowers. However, it was in December of 1916 at Kyiv University in Ukraine that the tune became associated with Christmas ever since, and it's called the Ukrainian Carol of the Bells. Then we go to England through the Holly and the Ivy. The lyrics come from medieval times, and it's rung, melted bells, and shakes. Got to have some shakes in bells. And of course, now we're living in such a troubled world with Russia invading Ukraine in February 2022, and all the Middle East conflicts this past weekend, Syria. And, it was a very troubled time. Now it was a very troubled time with the onset of the Second World War. And Catherine Davis wrote a song that she called the Carol of the Drum, and it was later renamed The Little Drummer Boy. And, of course, we'll be playing that with both bells and chimes. And, of course, there's got to be a drum. And then the last Thursday of November, of course, is American Thanksgiving. And in 1857, James Pierpont wrote a song called The Ride of the One-Horse Open Sleigh. And the children in the Sunday school loved it so much they wanted to come back. Can't we sing it at Christmas time again? And so they did, but it was renamed Jingle Bells. And I don't have my professional bell tree here today because it's being used by another handbell group. But I have a portable one here, and I'll see if I can demonstrate what you do. With a bell tree, you use mallets. You simply thread the bells through the handles and have them hanging down. And then you can create, with a mallet, some singing. Let's see if I can get this right. Here we go. Of course, with a professional tree, you would have both hands free. Okay, they're sliding around a bit too much. All right. So the bell trees are very popular right now. They've been coming along. And of course, when we're doing Jingle Bells, we ask for audience participation. And one lucky person will get to play this 400-year-old crotal. It's made of bronze. It has a pellet on the inside. And I was given this after I had conducted 800 handbell ringers in Birmingham, England. So it became the prototype, of course, of our jingle bells made of aluminum. And I even have a Santa Claus. He's even got a set of handbells in his hands. And another one, he actually tries to ring his bells. It was on the top of a tube of candy. So, and then to finish off, of course, a piece that was recorded in 1957, which are people who love to dance and rock the night away. We're going to finish up with a rollicking version of Jingle Bell Rock.
And audience members will be allowed to ask questions
Oh,
as
yes,
well,
definitely.
right? Mm-hmm.
They're always asking questions, and we will definitely answer them.
Mm-hmm. Morna-June, it all sounds so great. The Ring Out Handbell Quartet is celebrating 10 years this year. Did you hope it would be this thriving 10 years ago when you started it?
I don't know if we thought it would or not, but it's been so much fun. Obviously, we're very good friends because you're having to deal with passing bells from one to another.
Yeah.
And it really is. We get a lot of pleasure. And seeing the smiles, especially in senior citizens' places, and you can just see the twinkle in their eye when they recognize a familiar tune. And that is worth it.
Mm-hmm. Sunday's concert seems like it's just a win-win for everybody. Audience members can donate to the Christmas cheerboard, and in return, hear the lovely sounds of bells. What were the donations like last year, and do you have a goal for this year as to how much food and monies?
Well, last year we had $1,500 donated and a lot of food, and of course we're hoping, because everything is costing so much more now, that we're hoping for a lot more in donations and in food.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's for such a great cause. Morna-June, as always, this has been so great having you back here in studio, and you and your handbells are welcome back anytime. Thanks for taking the time to drop by and talk to me today and play for me today. It's been great.
Thank you very much, Chris. I appreciate it.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the Ring Out Handbell Quartet performs this Sunday, December 15th at 2 p.m. at Chapel Lawn at 4000 Portage Avenue. For more details, visit classic107.com. You can find more details there. Morna-June, thanks again.
Thank you, Chris.